Welcome. My name's Gannon. I'm a product manager here at ClickHouse, and today I'm going to be talking to you about lightning fast analytical queries on massive data sets. So what is ClickHouse? ClickHouse is an open source, column-oriented, distributed OLAP database developed since 2009. Our database is ideal for aggregations, and we speak fluent SQL that's aligned to the ANSI SQL standard. We're designed to ingest and query massive amounts of data extremely fast and efficient storage with amazing compression ratios, and our architecture can scale to any shape or size of our support for distributed queries, replication, sharding, multi-master, and cross-region support. So since its inception in 2009, the product was open sourced in 2016. ClickHouse, the VC-backed company, was incorporated in 2021, raising over 300 million in funding. We're ranked #1 analytics database on DB Engines. We've received over 40,000 stars on GitHub, and we have a growing community of over 200,000 members. So 4 really popular categories of where ClickHouse is being used in the wild. First one is real-time analytics for customer-facing applications. You can have hundreds and thousands of users querying concurrently, building applications, dashboards, and APIs. Data lakes and warehousing, you can hook up tools like Power BI, or you can use ClickHouse as a query engine on top of your data lakes, and you can ingest for a faster speed in mission-critical applications. SQL-based observability is on the rise, and that's the original use case for ClickHouse, which is storing Google Analytics styles and scale metrics and logs. And you can attach Grafana, or you can use our recent acquisition of HyperDX as a front end to analyze and alert on logs and metrics. Machine learning and Gen AI is growing in popularity, and I'll talk to you a little bit later on how you can power agents with our MCP server, but we're seeing folks use us as a feature store or for vector search. Now, we have thousands of customers using and deploying ClickHouse. Technology titans like Microsoft and their WebXT team are storing web properties gathered from products like Bing and Edge, and ClickHouse is at the heart of their Microsoft Clarity product. We have a great talk available on our website where the team presented about their usage, and Cloudflare analyzes and stores 1.45 trillion page views a month with an additional 2.5 billion visitors analyzed every month. So to handle such traffic, they chose ClickHouse because of our performance to ingest 11 million rows per second. And if you want to find out more details, you can head to our website and check out the customer use cases. Now, we all know that data volumes are increasing, and most data platforms are built to handle that. However, what's growing even faster is the query volume and the complexity. This creates serious performance and cost challenges for traditional data warehouses, especially the ones that charge per query and aren't particularly fast, and it becomes extremely expensive with highly concurrent query loads. So think about having loads of users querying the same data at the same time. Simply storing more and more data in object storage is easy, but scaling queries efficiently is much harder. The real challenge isn't just handling more data, it's handling more questions about the data and the time to get those answers. So to understand where ClickHouse best fits in your architecture, I'm going to call out we're not a good fit for transactional use cases. However, transactional use cases are just one part of the puzzle. Each progression down the pyramid, you see the scale at which the volume of data grows exponentially, and this is where ClickHouse really shines. Whether it's serving platform analytics and metrics for customers, powering business-critical decision-making, or analyzing and alerting based on logs and metrics, ClickHouse is a really good fit at each of those levels. So what our customers are reporting is that they're finding ClickHouse provides more performance than other vendors with predictable costs and more productivity. The best part is that ClickHouse has been designed and architected for the cloud and distributed setups. ClickHouse Cloud is our fully managed serverless offering, and if you need a multi-cloud strategy, we've also got you covered, and I'll touch on those over the next few slides. So we're always measuring real-time performance, looking at both read and write workloads for analytical queries. So think aggregation-heavy queries across large sets of data. Think several millions of writes per second, performing both operations on the same setup concurrently. We're essentially mimicking real-world scenarios that imitate having lots of customers query the data. So we're highly resource efficient, and this allows you to be able to build these APIs and applications on top of us, ultimately speeding up your user experience. We also offer optional in-memory data structures like dictionaries or our set and join table engines for more performance. In terms of cost, we don't charge per query. There are other databases that do that, and they typically measure the total runtime, bytes or rows scanned. We charge for the CPU and memory you use, giving you more control over your usage. Within ClickHouse Cloud, the serverless offering, you only pay for the compute while they're running, giving you a lower cost overall. Now, developer productivity, we're a developer-first company because of our open source roots. We're always thinking about our developer experience and education. So you can run ClickHouse locally for testing or integrate it into your CI/CD pipeline. We have so many built-in functions beyond just the basic SQL ones. And my personal favorite is the bar function, which allows you to pass in data with a few parameters for plotting. Or within my SQL results, I can have a bar chart for faster decision making. We have native support for JSON and geo data types, plus user-defined functions. And not only do we support SQL that's aligned to the ANSI standard, you can also query your data using Custo and PRQL. We have our own native protocol for moving results over the wire, as well as HTTP, but you can also use the MySQL and Postgres protocols so you can integrate everywhere they are supported. Hopefully you understand why our customers are saying they're getting more performance, better cost, and more productivity with ClickHouse. Quick checks saw a 1000x increase in their query performance using half the disk space and ultimately reducing their cost by 5 times. Vantage saw their query performance 5x and the amount of concurrent queries increased by 20 times. And this is in part because of our compression ratio that block and add greets highlight. Head over to clickhouse.com to read more about what our customers are saying about their experience with developing with ClickHouse. Now, I mentioned ClickHouse Cloud, and I want to touch on the easiest way to get started with ClickHouse. It's our fully managed serverless offering that's available directly or via the Azure Marketplace. And if you go to clickhouse.com, you can sign up for a free 30-day trial and get $300 worth of credits that can be used to deploy a service on Microsoft Azure. Now, I said we've got our fully managed, but we're also expanding our Bring Your Own Cloud offering, which will be coming to Microsoft Azure soon. And we're available on all 3 major cloud service providers and deployable in all regions. By default, we make your service available in 3 availability zones for peace of mind. And if there's a specific region you're interested in, please do reach out to us. You also get automated and configurable backups, along with the ability to back up into your own blob storage for cross-region disaster recovery. We have a host of security certifications that you can check out on trust.clickhouse.com, from SOC 2, GDPR, HIPAA, ISO 27001, and PCI compliance. And our billing model is pretty simple. You can sign up through the marketplace and use your marketplace committed spend, or with a credit card, you can come directly. And we offer both pay-as-you-go or committed spend contracts. And we have a handy cost calculator on clickhouse.com/pricing. If you'd like to learn more about marketplace commitments or committed spend contracts, also reach out to us. A cool feature we launched this year is the warehouse architecture, providing you with compute separation, a new way for you to optimize your performance and resource allocation depending on your workloads. Maybe this is for different users or different business functions. So if you're looking for a way to maybe separate reads and writes, scaling these compute resources depending on their functionality, you can also do this by adding in different types of restrictions, whether it's credential restrictions or network access control. And customers like 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗶ecie, Common Room, AB Tasty have shared on how warehouses have allowed them to be more highly available, flexible, and have more predictable costs on our blog. We've also recently introduced and will be extending our support for open table formats like Iceberg and Delta Lake. There are a few scenarios in how you might want to use ClickHouse with data lakes or lake houses. One might be loading your data lake into ClickHouse, and I'll let you into a sneak peek of our ClickPipes roadmap a bit later on. Or you might want to do ad hoc and federated queries with data stored in data lakes. You have the S3 clusters, the Iceberg clusters, and the Delta Lake cluster functions, which allows you to do that. And we're going to continue to invest in reducing the performance gap between ClickHouse native table formats and these other open standards. And a lot of work has already been started this year, like the catalog integration highlighted in this diagram, plus the recent work to distribute the processing of queries across multiple nodes for Iceberg, 𝗦𝗽𝗲, and Delta Lake. Another great feature that we have in ClickHouse Cloud is our query API endpoint. You can save a query and make it available via HTTP, make the request, and we'll execute the query against your service, meaning you don't need to stand up a dedicated API just to query your data. This is great for getting to production in rapid speed. Another great feature we also have is our SQL dashboards, so you can save a query and create a visualization from them, collate these visualizations into a dashboard, and you get quick and simple BI or decision-making dashboards without the need of an external tool. Now, I'm briefly going to talk about what we have in our ecosystem and integrations for those. And the first one I'm going to talk about is our cloud-native experience to ingest data from remote data sources, which is called ClickPipes. Now, ClickPipes is really easy to get set up. You can do this either in the UI or programmatically using Terraform or our API. And what you do is you select your data source, configure the schema and the destination. And because ClickHouse is fast, we're designed ClickPipes to be just as fast and handle the same volumes and speeds. So we take care of building and scaling efficient pipelines to move data continuously. Ultimately, this accelerates your time to production, and ClickPipes has support for lots of data sources, whether it's object storage like blob storage, or pub/sub streaming services like Event Hub. We've also recently introduced CDC ClickPipes, which have continuous hooks into your transactional Postgres or MySQL database, and we'll be adding support for Iceberg and Delta Lake in the coming months. We have over 150 available integrations today. So if you don't fancy using ClickPipes, you might want to use something like Azure Data Factory with our REST API, or maybe get started using the Apache Spark connector with Synapse Apache Spark. We also have our Power BI connector, so you can build your own dashboards within Power BI, as well as a .NET driver, so a C# client that you can get started building applications with. As I said, Gen AI and AI agents are the hottest craze this year, and this is where speed is crucial for powering these agents. Because we're built for real-time response and high concurrency, you can attach your agents to ClickHouse and know you're going to get the same query results in milliseconds to reduce latencies to your agents. Along with consistent performance, you'll be confident that your user and your agents, as they scale, your database will also scale too. You'll be querying the most up-to-date data without the need of lots and lots of servers. And the cool thing I want to talk to you about is our MCP Model Concept Protocol server that we've just released, which came out of Anthropic with the MCP protocol did, and it provides LLMs a way to augment data from tools. So if you're interested in learning more, there's a great blog up by Riyadh on agent-facing analytics, along with a YouTube video from 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗶ecie who shows you how to get started. You can download the MCP server from our GitHub and give it a spin. Now I'm going to give you a quick demo showing you how insert speeds work in ClickHouse, and it's just going to populate a C# application running on app service. Let me switch my screen. Cool. So the data I'm going to be using today is from the sensor.community. Essentially, these are a load of open source sensors that people can buy, and they can install them and create and host them in their homes, and they measure different like temperatures, pressures, and things like that. So what I'm going to quickly do is take you over into ClickHouse Cloud, and I've got a service set up for build. And here we're going to have a little look around. So we've got the SQL console to write some queries against. I mentioned dashboard before, where you can create your dashboards. We've also got data sources, so whether it's uploading a CSV or maybe you want to create a ClickPipe. Here I might want to create an Azure ClickPipe. I mentioned backups before, and here we've got a couple of backups that were stored earlier. And some settings, so I can set how I want to scale, how I want to idle, and I can also monitor the service itself and look at how much is being used. So my data set is already uploaded into Azure Blob Storage. I've got a load of JSON files, and let me just inspect using the Azure Blob Storage function. You can see if I'm querying just here about 10 days worth of data, and that's roughly going to be 125 million. So what I'm going to do is truncate my table just to make sure everything is running, and I'll quickly walk you through what this application is doing. So I've got a really simple C# demo, and it's up on ClickHouse's GitHub repository for you to have a look at. I've got two API endpoints, and these are just collating some results together and presenting them back. And as you can see, I've just got some really simple queries that are being run. So gather the date, and count the amount of readings that we're getting from the sensors. Do this by sensor type, or maybe just count a distinct sensor ID itself. And within it, my little simple application is just going to be polling constantly, one at 250 milliseconds, another one every second to get this data. And I've got this service being hosted in app service today. So I'm just going to open that up and show you that there's nothing being loaded in it. And what I'm going to do is just kick off a load, and what we should start seeing is some data populating through. And as you can see, as that query is being run in the background, this application is doing real-time analytics itself, showing you how quick and how many millions of rows we can ingest. So I'm just going to go back to this screen. Hopefully our query should finish any moment now. Give it a second, and then I'll be able to run on a different data set, which is an exact copy of it, just a larger set of data. So that query finished in 25 seconds. I've got a bigger data set here, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to query over about 5 billion rows, and I'm actually going to query a really chunky query, which you wouldn't do in an application, just to show you that it should take around 10 seconds or so to start calculating for each sensor type, for each month that's available within this data set. Go get me the count of how many readings we've got, and pretty print it, hence this nice little extended function that we have in SQL, which is the format readable quantity. And then go compute some percentiles for the pressure, for the temperature and the humidity. And as I was rambling on, you can see that it was scanning over about 81 million rows for a particular sensor and that month of on the first day of the 12th month, 22, and it's gone and calculated each of the different percentiles. Let me switch back and just say, if you're really interested in learning more about ClickHouse, head over to clickhouse.com and you can learn more or get started with a free cloud trial. Thanks for listening.